Part 5. Body mechanics and your body size and the style of martial art that you should probably take. As I touched on this in one of the 3 videos prior to this that was totally interrupted by either a phone call or my nephew, one of the two, I talked about body size and your body mechanics and your height versus what style of martial art I recommend that you take. Alright, as I left off, because I was totally interrupted and totally got off track on that, I'm back on it now and I'm going to stay on it. If you are 5'7" and below, the world is your oyster. Let's scratch that. I want to give you 6-footers a little bit of an option. Okay, so if you are 6'2" to 5'4", or 5'3", or 5'1", from 6'2" to 4'11", the martial art world is your oyster. And the reason I say that, because the average man is supposedly between 5'7" and 6'2". Alright? I am not an average man. I am below average. I am 5'3.5". I am the size of the average Vietnamese woman. So that should tell you that I am fairly short. But that does not make me any less dangerous. Me being short gives me more options martial art wise. You know, Thai fighting, most of those guys are between 5'7" and 6'2". Karate, most of those guys are between 5'7" and 6'5". Wushu, most of those guys stop at 6 feet even. Wing Chun, Kung Fu, most of the Chinese styles, they stop at about the 6-foot range, you know, because some of the complexity of some of the katas, or the movements, or the breathing, it's a whole lot easier for somebody who's 5'3" to move around than it is for someone who's 6'2" to move around. Now there's not a recommended you can't do this because of your height. There's no that. It's just that for your body mechanics and your body style, I think somebody's texting the shit out of me. Or not. But for that, or so. Oh damn, I need to call my aunt. So I better make this quick. Sorry, people. I definitely need to call my aunt. So I'll make this video as quick as I can. Okay, so for your body sizes and shape, if you're over 6'2", I would mostly recommend Japanese martial arts, maybe the Filipino martial art because I haven't done a lot of research on it, maybe the Hawaiian and the Haka from Samoan martial arts and stuff like that. I would recommend them because your height isn't going to be a factor, and some Samoans are pretty fucking big. Now, for you in between 6'5" and 6'2", and then there's the 7-footers, your bodies are complexed. And the reason I say that they're complex is because the main thing you have is range. You have a lot of range. Your physicality and your strength and your range will either work really well for you or work really, really bad for you. Now, like in a martial art like capoeira, if you are like a 6'5", 200-pound weakling and you have range, good for you, because you have such long limbs that, you know, you do your Eddie Gordo thing, you know, people are walking into helicopter blades. It's just that simple, because you have range. But you have to know how your body works. For any martial art, I'm going to be honest with you, no matter the size, you have to know how your body works. You have to be comfortable in your skin. You have to be able to comfortably do a knee, or a side, or both, or an elbow. I wish I was outside. I could do this a whole lot better outside. But you have to be able to know how your body mechanics works when you're manifesting a martial art move. Alright, and the reason why I use such big words is because when you going for a block against a small person, smaller people have to have the ability to read your range, redirect your flow when you're fighting. So if this is a kick coming at me, I need to be able to get in, block, and sweep. But if you're like 7'4", it's going to be only possible for me with speed to break it and then get in there for that foot sweep. But if I can't, and I know that I can't because I learned how your body mechanics work by testing your range, if you throw that kick and I'm so short that it goes over my head, I win. Because when you throw that kick, you're going to have to be able to bring it all the way back like a tapping taekwondo kick. For those who have no idea what I mean, is when you throw this front round kick, it goes over and you should bring it right back. You don't have to touch the ground, but if you tap the ground and bring it back, a lot of big guys aren't able to do that. So they have to either do a sequence attack or come all the way back around. So if I duck it and you're spinning on your pivot and you pivot and just bring it right back around, you'll probably catch me because I won't be expecting you to do that. But since I'm already expecting you to do that, plus more, I'm going to be really aware of that foot going over. Now the good news for me is you got to bring it back around. The bad news for you is you have to bring it back around, which by the time you're getting that whole rotation, I should be in the position I need to be in. And if I'm not, then I deserve to have my ass whooped. Now, here's where things get complicated. Because if you don't have your guard up and you think that that kick's going to do the one thing that it's supposed to do, which most likely will not do in a fight, then I have you did the rights. Because if I duck it and I can move in before you can reposition yourself to get another kick off, or before you can spin it back around, then I got you. Now, here's the sad part for me. I already know going in that you have mad strength over my small frame. So I need to have my shit together when I get in. I need to know exactly where I'm going to strike. Now here's reality. Doesn't matter. I have to strike something at some point at some time in this fight. It's more than likely I'm not going to hit the target that I tell myself that I'm going to hit in my head. Because in a fight, you can go in and say, okay, he's going to throw this overhand kick that's going to go right over my head. I'm going to duck it and I'm going to punch him in this part of his thigh. Because there's a big muscle there and a pressure point. So I'm going to punch him solid right there. Not if he's too fast. And yes, some big people are pretty fucking fast. So he throws that and I duck and I miss my opportunity. He throws a sequence. When that other foot hits the ground and the other foot has lifted off, I need to be in a blocking position. If I'm not in a blocking position, I'm in a DM position. Which means I am a dead man. Because his other leg has already left the ground as his other leg is hit. Because if you know anything about sequence attack, everything happens beat by beat by beat by beat by beat. Alright? And what I mean by that is, this is a sequence. 1, 2, 1. And suppose we're in a fight and it's 1, 2, 1. Now, so I need to be ready for all of that. And so 1, 2, 1, 2. I need to have my block straight for doom, 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 boom. Now that one would be the kiss of death for him. So let's say I block that. Boom, boom, boom. He spins around, boom. So I catch and pull and push. Hand here, this way, because I blocked this way with open palms. Snap, broken elbow. Okay? So let's say that works. He's not done though. He still wants more. So he decides, because I'm breaking his elbow, he has at the position where his arm's like this. So he takes taekwondo and he drives his leg. There's no room in here, but he takes his leg up and the side kicks out. Now, I done broke his arm, but he's gonna side kick me in my rib. So I'm gonna release him and I'm going down just as he's going down. I'm in better shape because he's only knocked the wind out of me, but he has a broken arm. Now I gotta break the other two. His legs and his other arm. He's not gonna be stupid twice. Unless he's like in blind rage and not thinking. But then you have that unknown factor of adrenaline and how strong adrenaline makes people. You have that unknown factor of maybe he knows how to pop his arm back in place long enough to finish this thing. You have a lot of unknown factors in a fight. And when you watch martial artists and they're not telling you this, you have to understand in real life there is a lot of unknown factors in a fight. You don't know what his agility level is. You don't know what his durability level is. You don't know what his stamina level is. You don't know what his heart conditions are. You need to have all of this shit jumbled up in here in the midst of a fight. I got into a fight one time with a guy who I knew he had asthma. Alright? It was the last fight I had when I was 15 years old. I knew that he had asthma because I had been around. I've heard things, I listen to things, and I put them on the back burner. But in the front of my arsenal, know thy enemy and know thyself, and you shall never know defeat. It's one of the things I live by. I live by that code forever and ever and ever, and it's worked for me so far. Knowing that my enemy had asthma saved my ass, because I knew with those Monsuno golf cliques that if I could induce an asthma attack on this cat, I could win. And that's the thing. I had two advantages over him. One, I had age and experience, plus I knew Kung Fu. That's one advantage. Two, he knew nothing about me except for the fact that I was 5'1" at the time, and that I was probably 100 pounds soaking wet. That's all he knew. He may have known that I knew martial arts, but like most people, you get caught up in the mystic of martial arts, and you get some people who do know, and you get some people who just want to say, oh, martial arts is just a myth. Okay, here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to piss off more martial artists, so I'm going to do this as honest as possible. I am not going to say that chi power does not exist. I am not going to say that I can personally do a blue blast of beam, a Kamehameha. No, I can't do that shit. If I could do that, I would be fucking dominating the world right now. In fact, because no one would be able to stop me, I would go around doing that. I can also say, I am not Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. I can't do and make your fucking head explode. If I could, I would rule the world right now, because no one could stop me. You know, guns and knives and shit didn't hurt Kenshiro. It needed to be someone like him. So in real life, since I can't do any of that, I do know the one thing that I can do. I can block, I can kick, and I can punch. And more importantly, I can deal with combat stress in the midst of someone swinging their fist at your face. Because your mind will go anywhere in that moment that a fist is coming at your face. Before you know it, you're hit. Before you know it, you're hit. Before his hand is drawn back for his second round, your awareness is everywhere except for on his fist that's coming at you again. And they're not telling you this because they don't want you to know the glory of martial arts, where it comes down to, oh, getting hit in the face fucking hurts. Now, I watched a video earlier today on Discovery ID where a girl was recording a guy and he punched her in the face, and she had never been hit in the face before, so she was in shock. So I don't know if it hurt her, but she said, oh my God, he punched me in the face. Well, you know, I understand that because the first time you ever get hit in the face, it's a shocking thing. It literally is a shocking thing. And his body mass index times his strength times whatever, he must not have been trying to throw a full-figured punch at her. And I sit there and said to myself, you know, the fact that she just replied with, oh my God, he hit me in the face, or he punched me in the face was her exact words, kind of baffled me, because when I got hit in the face a long time ago, it was, damn, that shit really just happened. And then when the guy hit me again, it was like, oh, this motherfucker got to die. You know, because I'm very protective of my face, which most people should be. But when I got hit when I was a younger kid, like in my teens and stuff, you know, punches to the face, they didn't really faze me, and they didn't really not wake me up like in my 20s and 30s when it happened when I was in the van and I got stolen by the guy who thought I stole his van, which I didn't. I was just driving it. But you know, when I got hit, I had been thinking for like the longest time, I hadn't been in a fight since I was like 16 years old. Can I even still take a hit to the face? The answer was yes, because I took 2 of them and I didn't go to sleep, which was great. But then you watch a lot of fights on YouTube. You know, don't worry, I'm not off topic. You watch a lot of fights on YouTube where you see people get knocked the fuck out, and then some little rude dude comes along and kicks the guy while he's down. And fight's over. That's not even necessary. Okay, so you want to prove that you're ruthless. Will you be so cocky when you're the guy getting kicked in the face when you're knocked out? No. Then you'll be the same little wimpy bitch that'll be like, oh, he kicked me in the face while I was down. Well, hey, you did it to somebody else, and it should happen to you just the same. And I'm not saying that to be an evil motherfucker. I'm saying it because, you know, what goes around comes around. I'm a strong believer in that if I beat you, and the fight has come to either a draw or I have leveled you, I've laid you to sleep. I'm leaving you right there. I'm not going to touch you. I'm not going to come over and kick you while you're down. I'm not going to do that because I've already beaten you. What does that prove? It proves that I'm a badass. I'm ruthless because I kick people while they're down. Now that proves that you have no honor and you're a piece of shit. That's all it proves. Now I can say that in the heat of the moment, if it happens, then it was the heat of the moment. And that does happen in the heat of the moment. But, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't need to happen. 10 times out of 9, some asshole's just being an asshole and decides he wants to kick somebody while they're down. It's just that simple. So let me end this video now. Your size and your body mechanics are very important in the martial art in which you choose. And I can't emphasize enough that if you're under 6'5", you have more options. If you're under 6 feet, you have even more options. But the taller you are, I'm not going to say that you don't have a lot of options. I'm just saying that your options are very limited just due to body mechanics alone. And it's not that you being 6'7" or 7'8", can't hop, skip, and jump like the little people. It's just that your maneuvering is going to be a little bit more twisted and you're going to be offset. And what I mean by offset is that your form is going to be a little bit more harder to manage because you have to figure out how to be comfortable in your skin. You have to figure out why my sensei's butterfly looks awesome and my butterfly doesn't. Well, 2 things. Your butterfly does look awesome. And 2, your link, you have to work your butterfly mechanics. Alright? Now, if you have a tornado kick and your tornado kick looks awesome from one side versus the other side, it's because that's just the way it is. I am that way. When I first started doing tornado kick, my right leg was awesome. When I started doing it with my left leg made it look so much better. So I learned how to do sequences with that tornado kick. And sequence kicks for tall people, depending on how tall they are. Like I said, if you're like 6'9" or so, it's a little bit difficult, especially if you're compared to fighting a smaller guy. Like with Kareem and Bruce Lee in the Game of Death, that had to be closely monitored by Bruce because Kareem is so tall. He is limited to his spacing. And that's the other disadvantage of being tall, studying more of a Chinese style. Chinese people are naturally short. Except every now and again, Chinese have a few genetic freaks. And if you are Chinese and I just pissed you off, I'm totally sorry. You can go through history. But at one time, the tallest Chinese guy was 6 feet. And that's like before Yao Ming's entering to the world. Now, there are some Chinese people who are over 6 and 7 feet. Yao Ming being an example. The guy from Rush Hour 3 being an example. But most of the time, most Chinese never really got past 6'3", 6'5". And the further south you went down, like when you went into Korea or when you go into Japan, most of those guys are from 5'7" to 6'5" too. So, it's just location, and most Asians were just genetically short. And it's like, for almost 3 or 4 millenniums, most Asians never made it over 6 feet. No. And when I'm saying Asians, I'm specifically talking about the Chinese, the Japanese, Koreans, Malaysia, Jakarta, Indonesia, that kind of stuff. Not the Indians from India, because most of them made it to, and they're also Asian, have also made it between 6 feet and 6'5", and the average person on Earth generally hits between 5'7" and 6'2". Nowadays, the average is just up there, unless you're me, which is the size of the average Vietnamese woman at 5'3". Okay, so 5'3.5". But the thing is, with your body mechanics being over 6'5", your martial art that you choose, you need to choose one that specifically fits your body mechanics. Now, Thai fighters are often tall and lanky, so they kind of have that, but there are some thick Thai fighters too. Now, you have to find a martial art that definitely does your body mechanics. If you have to pick something and you're over 6'5", I would always say go with Thailand or Japan. I wouldn't say go with too many Kung Fu styles or too many Korean styles. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that you can't do it. I'm just talking about your body mechanics. You know, you have longer appendages to work with, and most of those martial arts from those countries that I named are generally for short people. Now, Wing Chun herself was only like 5'1". So, like I said, shorter body mechanics work a lot more mainland East Asia martial arts, where longer body mechanics work more like island martial arts. Again, Indonesia, Malaysia, Samoa, Philippines, those kind of things, because some of those people were naturally taller. There's evolution. Now everybody that's more or less Asian is over 6 feet if you're a man now. Some of the women are over 6 feet. So it just depends on your region and your landscape, which goes back to your body mechanics versus your martial arts style. Know your body mechanics per height. Before I close out, capoeira. You know, most people who do capoeira are between 6'5" to 5'3", maybe 5'2". It just depends on gender and body mechanics. And there are some really tall, lanky capoeira people. They're dangerous because they're lanky. But the thing with capoeira is they have one or two weaknesses that you can exploit, and the first weakness is how they start with that Jenga. You know, if your Jenga isn't great, you're going to have problems. It's the same thing with Drunken Master. If your sway isn't great, you're going to have problems. So you have to figure out how this works with your body mechanics. You have to figure out how this stuff works, because if you don't figure out your body mechanics are going to figure you out, and you're going to crash and burn. I'm James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. This has been your 5th video on martial arts. I will make more, and if I'm lucky, I will probably make a rehashing of this with martial art demonstrations, etc., etc. Thank you for watching. Peace in you.